They say the NFL shield protects the game, but today, it looks like it only protects the stars. While millions of fans tune in for the divisional round, one of the league's biggest names is not fighting for his freedom in court. He's fighting for playoff yards on the field, a felony-level allegation. A court date moved to exactly 5 days after the Super Bowl, and deleted messages that allegedly came from one of the most powerful celebrities in America. Coincidence? Or is the NFL running a script we were never meant to read? Tonight, we break down the allegations, the timing, the deleted evidence, and the question no sports network wants to ask. Let me explain why this story refuses to die online. 3 things make the internet explode every single time. First, a powerful organization. The NFL isn't just a league. It's a multi-billion-dollar machine built on image, timing, and control. Second, a superstar player. Stefon Diggs isn't just another receiver. He's ratings, jerseys, fantasy leagues, primetime narratives. And third, perfect timing. Divisional round, Super Bowl hype, and a court date that magically avoids all of it. That's not just news. That's viral fuel. So what is actually being alleged? According to multiple online reports and court-related discussions circulating on social media, Stefon Diggs has been linked to allegations involving a physical altercation with a private chef. The claims include assault-level accusations, including choking, which under many state laws can escalate to felony classification. As of today, no conviction has occurred. No jury has ruled, and Diggs has not been found guilty in a court of law. But here's where things get interesting. Court scheduling is usually boring, dry and administrative until this case. The trial was reportedly postponed. The reason listed? A previously scheduled professional commitment. Not medical, not a family emergency. A professional commitment during the NFL postseason. And the new date? February 13th, 5 days after the Super Bowl. Ask yourself, how often does the justice system move around billion-dollar entertainment schedules? If Stefon Diggs doesn't play, ratings drop, storylines collapse, and the league has to answer uncomfortable questions. The NFL has suspended players for less, but sometimes silence is more useful than punishment. This isn't about guilt. This is about optics. Then the story took a celebrity turn. Online users began sharing screenshots, allegedly showing messages from Cardi B, Diggs' rumored partner. The messages were said to be directed at the alleged victim. The posts were quickly deleted. And nothing goes more viral than something you're not supposed to see. Legal experts online began asking one question. Could this be interpreted as witness intimidation? No charges have been filed related to this. But the internet definitely noticed. Every year fans joke about the NFL script. Rigged refs, perfect storylines, Cinderella runs. But when real-world legal timing lines up with playoff narratives, the joke stops being funny. Is the league protecting its product? Or is this just coincidence stacked on coincidence? Notice something strange? Major sports networks are barely touching this. No countdown panels, no halftime debates, no serious investigations. Just football, and sometimes, silence speaks louder than headlines. This wouldn't be the first time a major league delayed accountability until after ratings peaked. We've seen it in boxing, in soccer, in Hollywood. Power doesn't erase allegations, it just postpones them. This isn't about hating a player. It's about asking why fame bends timelines, why regular people face immediate consequences. And stars sometimes get scheduling flexibility. Justice delayed isn't justice denied, but it is justice questioned. If Stefon Diggs plays tonight, remember, you're not just watching a game. You're watching a billion-dollar decision play out in real time. And 5 days after the Super Bowl. This story comes back, so I'm asking you, do you think this is coincidence? Courtrooms usually leak. Dates change, lawyers talk, clerks whisper. But in this case, everything went silent. No press conference, no detailed explanation. Just a clean delay, timed perfectly after football's biggest night. Ask yourself this. If this was a normal citizen, would their professional commitment matter more than a felony-level allegation? Or is this silence the sound of influence working exactly as designed? Power doesn't always say, no. Sometimes it just says, not now. Big organizations don't need to interfere directly. They just need time to let headlines fade. Time to let playoffs finish. Time to let fans move on. And by the time February 13th arrives, the Super Bowl parade is over. The ads have aired, the ratings are locked. That's when accountability quietly returns. In crisis management, there's a rule. Control the timing, control the narrative. Notice how Diggs' public image hasn't changed? No press appearances canceled. No league statements. No emergency discipline. That's not random. That's strategy. Because the NFL doesn't sell justice. It sells entertainment. And entertainment has a schedule to keep. Even if mainstream media stays quiet, the internet doesn't. Fans started connecting the dots. Why this date? Why this reason? Why this silence? Some called it protection. Some called it coincidence. But nobody called it normal. This wasn't just a postponed court date. It was a conversation starter about how things really work behind the curtain. When a celebrity enters a legal orbit, everything bends. Screenshots, deleted posts, alleged messages. None of it proven in court, but all of it powerful in public perception. Here's the thing people forget. Witness tampering doesn't require violence. Sometimes it's pressure. And pressure doesn't always leave fingerprints. It's the unseen force that can warp a story before it ever reaches a judge. A post that stays up is forgettable. A post that disappears becomes mythology. Because now people ask, what was so dangerous it had to vanish? Deletion doesn't erase suspicion, it multiplies it. It creates a vacuum that our own curiosity rushes to fill, often with theories far more damaging than the original content ever could have been. While all this simmers, the lights turn on. Fans scream. Analysts debate routes. Fantasy points update. And just like that, the conversation shifts. That's the oldest trick in the book. Distract the audience, and the question loses oxygen. The spectacle becomes the story, and the uncomfortable truths are pushed to the sidelines, waiting for an empty stadium. Let's be brutally honest. If this was a third-string receiver, would the date move? Would the league wait? Would the cameras look away? Or would we already have a suspension graphic ready? This isn't about one man, it's about a hierarchy. It's about a system that seems to have different rules for different players, depending on their value to the game. Fans with long memories have seen this before. Legal issues postponed. Investigations delayed. Consequences arriving when no one's watching. A pattern doesn't mean proof, but a pattern demands attention. It asks us to look beyond the single incident and see if there is a blueprint being used over and over to manage inconvenient realities. Here's the most important part. What happens after February 13th? What happens after the Super Bowl? Will the case suddenly resurface? Will the media suddenly care? Or will it quietly dissolve into a legal fog, another headline lost to time? That answer tells us everything we need to know about where the real priorities lie. This story isn't asking you to judge guilt. It's asking you to judge priority. When entertainment conflicts with accountability, which one wins? It forces us to confront an uncomfortable possibility that the game we love is protected by a system that values the show more than the truth. This is the kind of video that makes people uncomfortable. Because sports are supposed to be an escape, not a mirror. And mirrors make powerful people nervous. They reflect the parts of the system that we'd rather not see, the machinery working behind the scenes to keep the spectacle running smoothly, no matter the cost. Tonight, Stefon Diggs takes the field. In February, the courtroom reopens. Between now and then, remember this moment. Because history isn't just written by winners. It's written by timing. Tonight, you're not just watching a game, you're watching a decision. A decision made by a system deciding which moment matters more, entertainment or accountability. Some things are happening on the field, and some things are being deliberately pushed to later. After the Super Bowl, when the lights go off, when the parades end, that's when we find out if the truth comes back into the spotlight or if silence wins again. If you want to understand the stories that happen behind the game, if you pay attention not just to headlines but to timing, and if you want the next chapter of this story after February 13th, subscribe, because the game doesn't end at the final whistle.